you have now graduated to doing 2 tulips. I have already done my drawing and transferred it to the watercolor paper. And I have also done the preliminary painting with clear water to remove some of the sizing of the paper. So now we are ready to start painting the tulips. And I think we will start from the top and mixing up a little bit of lemon yellow. I cannot see bright highlights on this top tulip, so I will cover it completely with the weak solution of the lemon yellow. Now on the other one, it is basically red, but I think the underlying color is orange. So I will use a bit of pale orange underneath. There are times when you want to use the glazing method of laying one color on top of another on painting itself. And other times it works better to mix the 2 colors on the palette. Now we have the basic colors in, and I will choose sap green, which is a warm green, to add onto the stem and to the leaves. We will return now to the yellow tulip and go a little bit stronger on the yellow. I'm just lifting out a little bit here of the color to help that petal to curve. So now I can go to the cadmium red for the other tulip. So I will start in here, and at this time I'm working with a number 4 round brush. Now you can possibly see that the orange color is shining up through the cadmium red. Okay, we'll go on to strengthening the green on the leaves and the stems. So you can see I'm gradually bringing the painting into being. There are some highlights on the leaves, but they're not glossy. At this point, I'm just strengthening all the colors. Okay, we can start on some of the shadows now. I think I will give the red tulips a little bit more color before we do that. It is really quite vibrant, and I haven't reached that point yet. So I will paint more of the cadmium red on here with my number 4 brush. See, I stay away from that highlight and just soften it. Now I think we'll start with the shadows on the yellow flower. You know, of course, that the complementary color of yellow is purple, and that makes a natural shading color for the yellow. So we will now mix on the palette a little of the lemon yellow and add a bit of mauve to it. So then we start at the darkest areas. And we start from the darkest area and work our way out to the light in order to avoid making the entire painting too dark. We'll move on to the red tulip, and I shall not use green as the shadow color. Instead, I will use more of the mauve because it will make a richer color in here. So again, we start from the darkest parts and work our way out. So this will be here. Here's a shadow underneath the edge of the petal, which turns over. Okay, so we finished putting the primary shading on the red flower, so we shall move on to the leaves and the stems, and for that we will mix up sap green but add to it terre verte, which modifies the green and turns it cooler. We will start underneath the flower and shape the bottom of the petals in the process. And I will keep the front edges free, because when I go down along the edge to smooth the transition, a little of the color will move forward into the light. Okay, now we're in pretty good shape. We have everything placed and we have the basic colors and the basic values. So we'll mix up a little more of the yellow color and the shadow color. So we add a little mauve. And there's a tendency to feel that light colored flowers don't have dark shadows. They do though. Just a fine line here, and you can wash it out a little bit so that it is not a severely harsh line, because everything about the tulip is very soft. Just a little bit of color here to indicate that the petal turns down in the center just slightly to meet that midrib. Okay, so we'll move on to the red tulip now, and we'll mix cadmium red with mauve and make it quite dark. We're cooling it down because shadows are quite cool. With the fine brush you can really get into the corners. And remember, with this very dark color we don't want to overdo it, because we don't want the entire painting to be too dark. We just want a little drama. In every life a little drama should fall, right? Since this petal overlaps this one, we'll add a little of the dark color to it. And soften the transition. See how marvelous this highlight stands out now, because we do want that contrast in here. There are few things more dull than a drawing or painting totally in the middle tone, and it's so easy to do. You have to be consciously adding this dark. So we can now move on to the green, to punch up the green a bit, and I think I will use the larger brush to mix the paint on the palette. I will add more of the sap green and more of the terre verte, but then I will make it cool by adding some neutral tint. You will have the stem that goes underneath the flower petals, where it attaches to the stem, and the petals will cast a shadow on the stem. So I will only go on a small portion of the shadow side of the stem, because going over the edge brings the color out a little bit, and I will just lightly go over the lid side to define it. Go down on the shadow side of this leaf, and it has quite a dark shadow where it goes down behind the red flower. Now I will work with this small brush in the tight places, and then I think I will switch to the darker brush. So this leaf comes in front of the stem from the other leaf, so there will naturally be a cast shadow from the overlap. Okay, now the petals here will cast a shadow on the stem below, so this dark shadow will certainly make the stem go underneath the flower. See, again, I left this front edge of the stem light, which will make it come forward away from the dark shadow of the leaf behind it. At this point, I think I will switch to the larger brush because I have larger areas to cover. Okay, this leaf here has a dark shadow on it, but I will make it slightly lighter than the front leaf in order to make it retreat into the background. I think we'll go back to the yellow flower and intensify that lemon yellow quite a bit. We can even shape it a little bit by not adding the color all over, but to stop it at the highlight where it comes, where it curves the most. Okay, I think we have pretty much completed the two tulip painting, and I hope you enjoyed it. Although I firmly believe in the basic knowledge and technique, it is what you do with that knowledge and technique that matters in the end. So listen to the artist within you and trust your instincts. And if something works for you that is not in the rule books, go ahead and do it.
Now available on DVD. Try these techniques yourself at home whenever you wish. The extended version of today's workshop is now available to order on DVD from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.